phone, for example, take a picture of an invoice, you can send it through the OCR, you will have exact the same result as if you are using a PDF invoice. And the last one, but this is also very important, is that the OCR will always group by tax treatment on the invoice line. And we will see later during the demonstration the impact of this feature. So OCR is great, and this is really a great tool. We will see it together after, but it will disappear in the coming years. Why? Because we are now more and more using electronic invoices. And it's also becoming mandatory in more and more countries to use it. But why should we use electronic invoices if we have such a great tool as the OCR? First, information about e-invoicing, it's the format of the document. It's an XML file, so it's a structured file with all the information in this specific document. So there is no need of OCR because we don't need to transform the document into a text format, enable for the EI to check for all the information and fill in all the information. So this is really an important point. And as there is no OCR, there is also an instant recognition of all the information, because all the information is structured the same way for all the invoices, and our AI can just go in this file and pick up all the information needed to fill everything in Odoo. And the last part, and this is really important and will even automate more and more your accounting, is that on every invoice line you can have a specific account and a specific tax code. And this is based on a combination between the label that you have and the vendor or the customer. But we will see it in a few seconds in the demonstration. And the last point is, I guess you heard it already a couple of times since this morning, but since Odoo 17, we are now Odoo People Access Point, sorry. And that means that you will be able to send your customer invoices directly via the PEPL platform, but you will also, the same way, receive all your invoices in your vendor bills journal. So this will automate a lot your accounting. I will not speak too much about the PEPL because tomorrow at 1:30 p.m. on the same stage here, you have a talk specific about PEPL. So if you want to know more about it, just come here tomorrow to attend this presentation. So enough talking, let's see how it works in Odoo. And just to give you a bit of context, I will, to show you, in fact, I will record the same invoices, but with different ways. So first of all, I will start with the manual record of an invoice. And this is really easy. I just go to my vendor bills. You see, I already have 3 of them because I don't want to lose too much time with you creating a lot of invoices, but here I will create a new one for my vendor NG. I will put the day of today, for example, and I will add a line. You see, automatically I have here an account that is filled in. This is based on what previously was recorded on this specific vendor. So here I will put electricity, and I will put, for example, 45 euro. And I will go for another line. I will put gas. And you see, I just need to change the label and the account change as well. Because, like I told you, we will have AI working on a combination with the label and the vendor. Now, this one is done. I can save it, of course. I can go back to the other one. I will quickly show you the others. So if I switch to this one, here you see this is a credit note. We will see also how the OCR and the electronic invoice will work with credit notes. And the other one, I have different lines with different accounts, different VAT code, and so on. And the same for this one. So now I will just select all of them, and I will post them. Now, this is the manual way to record invoices. As you see, it can take some time, especially if you have a lot of invoices line, it can take some time. Now we will see how Odoo will react when we will send those same invoices in PDF from the, through the OCR. So I go to my document application. Here in the accounting, I have OCR, and here I have my 4 PDF invoices. So I will select them, and from this view, you see I select also the credit note, and from this view, I will now be able to create my vendor bills. When I do that, like I told you, we are using Google Vision, so you see the documents are being digitalized. So I'll take one, I will just refresh the OCR, and now Google is transforming this PDF in text, and then it's our own AI that will fill in all the information, and you see that I refresh it on one invoice, and all the force are directly filled in. Okay? So if I go to the first one, for example, the cowboy, this is my vendor credit note. And you remember, I just create with my action, create a vendor bill. But Odoo detected automatically that this is a credit note, so it transferred this vendor into a credit note. Also important to know, here you will see all the information that was filled in by the OCR. So you see my vendor is here known, of course, because I created already a credit note manually. But if this is a new vendor, so there is no contact created for this specific vendor in the database, the OCR will create this vendor for you with the name, the address, the VAT number, and so on. So when you are using the OCR for your vendor bills, for example, you don't need to manually create new vendors because the OCR will do this for you. If he cannot find the vendor, he will create it with all the information from the invoice. You can also see, and very quickly, when you click on a field, for example, here my bill reference, I click on it, I see where it takes the information. If I'm saying, okay, bill reference is this, for example, I just need to click on it, and you see it's automatically adapted. And as I told you, it will learn from it. So if now I confirm the invoice, I will send the information back to the OCR, and the next time I will have an invoice from Cowboy, he will put the right bill reference. Okay? So here I will leave it like it was. And you see the other information is also filled in, like the bill date, the accounting date, the bank number, and so on. And not only those information from the document itself, but you see also that the accounting part is filled in with the account, the tax code. So this is, like I told you, a combination of the label and the vendor. I will have the correct account and the correct VAT code. Once this is done, I can just confirm, and I can then switch to the next one. Here it's my Coolblue invoice, and what is here specific, I will not explain all the fields again, because you will see everything will be filled in with all the information. But what is here really important is that we have the link with the purchase order. You can see it, that it is linked, and I can go directly to my purchase order, and I can see all the information. And it was able to detect this one because on the document I have the link with my PO. And then what happens when you linked the invoice to a specific purchase order, all the invoice line will be filled in based on the purchase order. So you see here I have the link with my PO, and I have my products with the right accounts and the right tax code that are linked. And then I can just confirm this one. And as soon as I will confirm it, you will also see that I have now an asset that was generated automatically because I recorded some invoice on this specific account. And I will go then to the next one. Here, I have a specific invoice for Sodexo. I don't know if you saw it when I recorded manually this invoice. It was on 3 lines. But here, as I told you, OCR will always group by tax treatment. So here on this invoice, I have 2 different tax treatments. So it will put them into 2 lines. So I will need here to change it and to put, for example, 650, sorry, 50. And I will need to add an extra line, and here I will need to put payroll tax, and I will need to add 495.95. And now I'm done, and now this is okay. Now I can confirm this invoice and go to the next one. Here again, this invoice same issue as the other one. It's the same tax treatment for my 2 lines. So the OCR only put 1 line, and if I want to split it, I need to manually put here electricity, for example, for this one, for 59 euro, and I need to add a second line with gas for 33 euro. And now I can also confirm this invoice. So this is basically, how OCR worked, but now we will see the difference with the electronic invoicing. So again, here I have exactly the same invoices, but in an XML file, as I told you, electronic invoicing. And I will do exactly the same action. I will here create my vendor bill. Here you see difference instant recognition, because all the information is in this XML file. And I will take again the first one, for example, the cowboy one. Of course, here for all my invoices, you will see this banner saying this might be a duplicate. Of course, I just created all these invoices with you a couple of minutes ago. But here you can see this one will give you exactly the same result as with the OCR, because it's only 1 line with 1 VAT code, and you see it's directly recorded as a vendor credit note, even if I send this electronic invoice as a vendor bill. And I can then go to the next one. Here again, this, you will see it's in 2 lines. There is no link with my PO anymore, because my PO is already linked with this invoice I already posted earlier. But here you can see that this invoice is still recorded on 2 lines on specific accounts. Okay, I can now go and switch to the third one, and this is really important, because here with electronic invoice, you will directly see that I have my 3 lines with each time specific account, specific VAT codes. So here I don't need to manually add an extra line. And it will be exactly the same for the last one. This invoice from NG, you saw I have 1 line with electricity, 1 line with gas. As the information is in the XML file, I will have just a copy of it here, where I will be able to see the information. And maybe a last but very important part is with the XML file, is that you also have in this file a copy of the PDF file. So whenever you are sending and uploading an XML file, you will always on the right have the view of the document, because this PDF is in the XML file. Now, this was the 3 ways to record bills, but we will see also, like I told you, that we can automate even more with, for example, PayPal. And when you are going to your customer or vendor bills, you will be able to send via PayPal electronic invoices or receive any vendor bills from PayPal. So here, for example, in my customer invoices, I will see that I have here a document ready to send in my PayPal status. So I can just select this one, action, send and print, and here I will just choose for PayPal. And when I send it, you will see that this document is just sent via the PayPal platform to my customer, and the status change in pending reception. And this is exactly the same way that you will receive vendor bills from PayPal into your vendor bills. I just fetch the transaction, and you will see that I have here on the bottom a new invoice that I received from PayPal. So this will automate a lot your transactions. Now, we saw the OCR on invoices, but this is not the only part where you can use OCR, for example. If we go back to our document application, here we have now also the expenses. And as I told you, OCR will work as well on images. So it's now really easy. You go, for example, to the restaurant, you pay the bill, you receive the bill, you don't want to lose it, you take a picture of it and you send it directly through our OCR. So I will select my expenses and I will here create expense. You will see again here my documents are being digitalized. So I click on this one, for example, I will quickly refresh. And you will see on the left that all the information will again be pre-filled thanks to the OCR. Why? Because we learned our OCR to link certain word to a specific expense category. So you see here, for example, it's a lunch ticket, and I have some words on the ticket as lunch or food and things like that. And so it will be able to link this to a specific food category. So I have different categories, and on each category I can link a specific account, meaning that I send this expense in my expense app, it will link it to the right category with the right account, and I can then just check if everything is correct. Here I see the amount, everything seems good. I go to the next one, same, everything is filled in. It's also for a meal, and then I can just go back to my expenses, select both of them, and create my report that I can submit to my manager. So you see, it can be very, very easy to send all this information to the accounting. So basically, that was it for the presentation. So I will maybe give you a short recap on what we just saw here and explain you the difference between the three methods that we use to record our invoices. And the first one we saw was our manual recording, and of course we saw it can take some time, approximately 30, 40 seconds, depending on the invoice line you need to fill in, but it can take some time, and you can also make quite a lot of errors because you need to fill in all the accounts manually, you need to fill the amount, so you can put a 1 or a 0 too much, I would say. So it can be very heavy to record a lot of invoice, and there are almost no automations in this flow. The next part we saw was our OCR, and here what we saw is that we have almost an instant recognition of all our invoices. It can take approximately 5 to 10 seconds to have it on all the invoice, and you see I don't need to refresh one by one all my invoice. I just need to refresh one, and it will, and it's done for all my invoices. The next point, also very important, is if it's a new vendor, it will generate and create this vendor for me. So I don't need to manually record any new partner if I'm using the OCR, and this is really great if, especially in the beginning, if you have a lot of new partners that you need to create. And the last part is that we will always have one invoice line per VAT treatment. So we saw the difference here from OCR and electronic invoice, where this is very different. For the e-invoicing, we saw instant recognition. We don't need to wait to convert the document into a text format where we will be able to search for all the information. No, it's a structured file where all the information is stored in this file and structured the same way. So it's very easy for the AI to fill in all the information and to see where it should put what. Next information is, like I told you, we always have also the view of the image. So on the right, when you are recording some documents, you always see the invoice. And if you want to change something, you can just do it that way. But it will also be very important for the reports later on. When you will have a lot of transaction and you go to your P&L report, you can dive into the general ledger, and there you can dive into the invoice itself, where you will always be able to see it very clearly because the PDF will always be stored in this XML file. And the last information, it's that we will be able to have a specific account and a specific VAT code on each invoice line, and this is, as I told you before, this is the combination of the label and the vendor that will give you this specific account. So that was it, in fact, for the presentation. So you can now use this QR code or the link to the pad below, and I will answer all your questions. So thank you very much.
Great talk. We already have some questions coming in.
Okay, great.
First question, can we use different formats of electronic invoices? for different customers?
Yes, indeed. So when you go, I will maybe show it. When you go on a specific customer, for example, you can select on the customer itself. In the accounting, you have here the different format that we have, and you can choose the format that you want for every customer.
Okay. Another question. What is the cost of OCR?
I will maybe put the link back. The cost of the OCR, it depends on the amount of credits that you are buying. So it starts from 50 cents per document, per credit, I would say, to 10 cents. And I mean also by document, so if you have one invoice with 3 or 4 pages, when you send it through the OCR, it's only 1 credit. So it's 1 credit per invoice.
Clear. If you don't have the PO number in the invoice, there is a new PO. Will the PO be created automatically, or they just create the vendor bill without PO?
It will just create a vendor bill without PO, but you can always also manually link the invoice to the PO. You don't need to put everything manually. You can just, in the autofill tab, you can search for the link with the PO, and there it will then give you on all the invoice line the information from the PO.
Okay. Another question. How can I do it when I need to send vendor bills to different purchase journals?
Okay, that's a good question. You can either on each journal you can have a specific email alias that you can use. So if you are using them, you can send all your invoices directly to the correct journal, as you cannot give the same email alias on different journals. So you will have one email alias per vendor bill journal, for example. Or you can now in the document application also send customer vendor bills, but you can also choose in which journal you want to send them, so you can create different actions and send them to the right journal.
Cool. Another question. How can you add additional information to a vendor from the scanned document? For example, the bank account.
The bank account will normally always be filled in with the information that the OCR will find. If it's not the case, you can manually the first time fill it in, and it will learn, as I said, and the next time if you have a new bank account, it will search for the field in the document application. But the first time, if he's not able to find the information, you will need to learn it, how it works and where you can find the information. And if the next time it's still not working, you can also ask us. We will create a specific template for this specific vendor or customer.
Okay, one more question, because I think we have to finish it up.
Yes.
How can we reset accounts that are wrong? How to reset wrong accounts assigned by AI? So if wrong accounts are set repeatedly.
Normally, as soon as you are changing it once, it will learn from it, and the next time it should give you the right account. But if it's not the case, this is not what we expect from it. So maybe you can log a ticket, or you can come to see us at the accounting booth if you have the case. But normally, as soon as you will change it, it will learn from it, and the next time it will give you the correct one.
Okay, great. Okay, there's still a lot of questions left, but
okay,
I think
if you have still questions, you can come see us at the accounting booth in Hall 7. It's at the end of Hall 7, and we will answer all your questions. Thank you.